All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the AUNAM framework. It's an incredibly powerful and strategic tool, really designed to help you prioritize your sales prospects and zero in on the opportunities that truly matter. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get a solid handle on what the framework is all about. Then we'll take apart its 4 core components piece by piece. After that, we'll see exactly how you can put it into practice, look at some common mistakes to steer clear of, and then we'll wrap it all up with a really clear, real-world example. Okay, let's kick things off by really establishing the fundamentals of AUM. We're going to explore why this framework is just so darn effective, especially in today's really complex sales environments where you're dealing with a ton of different stakeholders. So what makes ANUM different? Well, at its core, it completely flips the script on those traditional qualification models you might be used to. Instead of starting with budget, ANUM puts authority front and center. And the reason for that is simple. In today's complex B2B world, getting to the right decision maker isn't just a step, it's the most critical step to getting a deal done faster. And here's the real philosophy behind it. ANUM is built on this one powerful idea. A leader with genuine authority can almost always find, create, or shift a budget around if the need is painful enough and the urgency is real. So it shifts your thinking from, hey, do they have the money, to, am I talking to the person who actually controls the money? Big difference. All right, now that we've got the big picture, let's really break this framework down, pillar by pillar. We're going to dig into the strategic thinking behind authority, need, urgency, and money. So first up, we've got authority. And listen, this isn't about finding just one king or queen on a throne. In modern B2B sales, authority really means the whole decision-making group, that committee of stakeholders who have to collectively give the green light. And get this, we're talking about 6 to 10 stakeholders. That's a huge number, right? It just shows you're not selling to one person anymore. You're selling to a team that probably includes the CFO, a security expert, and an operations manager. Your job early on is to map out who these people are by asking things like, who else besides yourself usually weighs in on a decision like this? Okay, so once you've mapped out the authority, we move on to the second pillar, need. And this is really the heart and soul of consultative selling. It has nothing to do with your product's features. It's all about being a doctor, diagnosing the real problem, and truly understanding that gap between where they are right now and where they desperately want to be. This slide perfectly illustrates what you're trying to do here. You're like a detective. A prospect might come to you and say, we need a new CRM. That's the stated need. But your job is to ask why enough times to uncover the real need, which is something much more painful, like we're losing deals because our process is a mess. The real need is never the tool, it's the problem the tool solves. And that leads us perfectly to this quote. It just captures the essence of this pillar so well. Your pitch, your marketing, your entire approach has to be completely focused on their world, their motivations, and what they see as valuable. You've got to connect your solution directly to their reasons for buying. All right, pillar number 3, urgency. This is the critical why now factor. And let me tell you, this is everything. A really painful need without any urgency is just a nice conversation. It's an idea for next quarter, maybe next year. Urgency is what turns that idea into a real active opportunity in your pipeline today. So how do you actually create that urgency? Well, you can find these tension peaks, moments where the pressure is on, like a competitor's move or a project that's failing. You can also calculate the cost of delay, showing them exactly how much money they're burning every single week they wait. Or you can introduce a real legitimate reason for them to act now. And finally, we get to money. See how this is the last step? There's a really good reason for that. Only after you've confirmed you're talking to the right people about a painful problem that needs to be solved now, then, and only then, do you talk about their ability to invest, and even more importantly, prove the return they're going to get. This quote just nails it. Every single buyer deep down is asking themselves, so what? They need to be able to justify this purchase, and your so what has to be answered with cold hard numbers. What are the net profits? What's the payback period? How can you guarantee you'll deliver those results? Okay, so we've got the theory down for all 4 pillars, but what does this actually look like in a real conversation? Let's get practical. This is all about making that shift from pitching your product to becoming a true consultant. So the process itself is actually pretty straightforward. It follows this logical 4-step flow. You go in order. You start by verifying you're talking to the right people. Then you use great questions to uncover their pain. Then you establish the timeline. And only at the end do you confirm they can invest. Now, this question you see here, this is what we call the demonstration close. And wow, is it powerful. You'd typically use this in that fourth phase when you're confirming the money. It's such a direct but really elegant way to test both their urgency and their financial capacity at the exact same time. Their answer tells you everything. But, mastering any framework isn't just about knowing what to do. It's also about knowing what not to do. So let's talk about some of the common traps people fall into that can really sabotage this whole consultative approach. And here it is, the number one mistake: treating ANUM like a robotic checklist. This is supposed to be a guide for a real, fluid, trust-building conversation, not some kind of mechanical interrogation. You have to remember, B2B buyers often make their decision with their gut, based on trust, and then use logic to back it up. So don't just dump a list of features. Connect with the actual human on the other end of the line. All right, to pull all of this together, let's run through a quick, super practical example. Just imagine for a second that you're a financial consultant and you're using the ANUM framework to qualify a brand new prospect. So first things first, authority. Before our consultant even mentions an investment product, what do? They ask questions to make absolutely sure they're talking to the person who actually calls the shots with the money. Simple as that. Then they move on to need, and through some really smart, open-ended questions, they dig deeper than just, I want to invest. They uncover that core emotional driver, the desire to get the highest possible return while taking on the lowest possible risk. And then you get this brilliant move. With one single question, the consultant tackles the last two pillars at once: urgency and money. It tests their willingness to act now, that's urgency. And by putting a specific number on the table, it takes the conversation from just an idea to a concrete financial opportunity. That's money. And to wrap things up, we want to leave you with this: the ANUM qualification matrix. Seriously, think of this as your personal cheat sheet. It's a really practical tool that just summarizes the whole framework, lining up each pillar with a clear objective and a key question you can take, adapt, and start using in your own conversations right away.